Good evening, morning, lunch, whatever the hell it is in your time zone. How's it going, everyone? It's time for a RambleCast. So, yeah, it's been kind of a quiet week, at least in tech. Our main story tech-wise is actually, well, not really tech. I mean, there's some tech involved, but yeah, I mean, at this point, the biggest story of the week, come on, it's porn. Kind of. So anyway, before we get to that, how's everyone doing? I see Diablo and Austin hanging out in chat. Looks like you guys are the first to join. I have a feeling we'll probably be joined shortly by a few others. But, yeah, I mean, come on. This has been an odd week for stuff. Not a whole lot of news, not a lot of stuff happening. Just straight up controversies over other stuff. Which, hey, you know, if you're super into world news, it's been one hell of a week. But for the most part, we can hopefully avoid some of that. But yeah, it's been a week for OnlyFans in particular. I mean, we talked about it in Discord earlier, but I mean, and by the way, I'm not just going to rehash the discussion from Discord. I actually have a very different thing to say, which also comes from something else that was posted on The Verge today. So yeah, this is actually going to spin out into a totally different direction, I promise. But for those who haven't heard, I'm sure you exist, right? OnlyFans last week announced, hey, we're cutting out explicit content. It's not happening anymore. And this got the natural expected response, the response everyone could have told OnlyFans it was going to get. Anger, lots of it. People were pissed. Shocking. You tell people you're going to take away their porn. What do you expect to happen? Not only that, but we're talking about screwing with various creators who, for lack of a better way to say it, make literal millions on this platform. I don't know how many are necessarily in the million plus ballpark, but I mean, this is massive income for a lot of people. It's affecting not just the individual creators, but it's also affecting their staff. It also, let's be honest, impacts payment providers. It impacts OnlyFans. It impacts, many, many others. So you had to expect. People are going to be pissed at this. Anyone could have predicted that. As the discussions in Discord went, and I think we all can agree on this, OnlyFans probably misjudged how big of a reaction it was going to get. Not only were the individual creators and their staff angry, but you had fans who were naturally pretty angry themselves. But add to it, you also have other people on OnlyFans who, yes, also creators, but they are not even affected by these rules. Hey, Curvy Mermaid, how's it going? So, you know, you start adding all of this up, and sure enough, the outrage was pretty high. Now, OnlyFans has reversed course partially. They've quote-unquote suspended their plans to ban explicit content, and the best way to put it is suspended is one of those words that leaves all cards still in the hand. They're not on the table anymore. They're just back in the hand. Not discarded, not thrown away, not torn up. Basically, OnlyFans is just saying, we might do it, we might not. You know, we'll see what happens. At this stage, I think it's safe to say, the ban is probably still going to come, just not in the immediate future, not in a predictable way. And that's pretty much how it's going to go. Anyway, so that's the catch-up. For anyone who hasn't like I said, for anyone who somehow doesn't know this, even after our Discord discussion, you're caught up. I see a little discussion about Windows Beta is out, which I'll just ask the one pertinent question. Does it still require the same base requirements that they were already talking about? Because if so, I can only imagine how it, like, every beta and every update that comes out, it's all just going to be talk about, oh my god, why would they keep these restrictions that are keeping people from upgrading Windows? But anyway, so OnlyFans be like, who built this? Yeah, I mean, for real, there are a lot of people who rightfully they're making the argument, and I think they're okay. They're making the argument that they helped build OnlyFans. And normally when I hear somebody make that argument, because let's be honest, YouTubers were making that argument for a decade. Like, every time YouTube did something that made it more profitable, or they started imposing certain rules or restrictions, they changed anything about it, all of a sudden YouTubers would pop up and say, wait, we helped you build this platform. Like, we're as much a part of this as YouTube itself. How can you do this to us? Well, the reality is, at a certain point, a company can and must change. And it's sometimes going to step on the toes of some of the people who were there for its inception. I feel like OnlyFans is a bit of a different story here, because this really was actual partnership level stuff with a lot of their user base. I mean, we're not talking about people who came along one day and said, you know what, I think I'm going to upload videos of me and some friends goofing around. It wasn't a few random people getting together and doing some stunts. It was a change that actually involved people building businesses specifically so that they could have this, they built businesses around the fact that OnlyFans existed, and OnlyFans relied on this right from the start. So I do think people are a little more justified in making the complaint that OnlyFans really wouldn't exist without them. I mean, you know, granted, OnlyFans gave them a place to do this, but you could never build a platform as quickly and effectively as OnlyFans did if they didn't have those same creators coming and working with them to make it happen. So the complaint is valid. For once, I actually think it's very valid. Let's see, comments. Need to be on the Insider channel. Not doing that. This about Windows, by the way. They won't let you straight up download an ISO. That's weird. Someone on Reddit said they should start their own financing company called Spank Bank. I love that. And at this stage, there's enough money in porn. Honestly, it's hard to imagine this not happening. And actually, I know that this is totally unrelated, but I'm just going to throw it in. I'm a little surprised that more massive money industries don't have this sort of strategy going on. The one that immediately comes to mind is marijuana, because they famously had a history of not being able to get funding, or rather not being able to work with banks. I am constantly surprised that banks, I mean, obviously I'm a little surprised banks themselves aren't more willing to take that money, but seeing as how it has become such a big issue, I'm really amazed that there hasn't been a company started yet by somebody with enough money and just straight up saying, you know what? No, we want every part of this business. Bring your banking to us. We will fund all of it. You know, we'll give you loans. We'll do this. We'll do that. And guess what? Our interest rates, yeah, they're like 3% higher than everybody else's. that's the way it goes. Deal with it. But we'll work with you. We'll make it this happen. Like, you got to be nuts not to jump into these industries and honestly take super big advantage of them. Anyway, let's see. Porn and the far right need a financing company. I can't imagine how that... I feel like the far right has their financiers pretty well locked away. Am I missing something? Anyway. So, let's see. A little distracted because my water bottle had a bit of a leak in it a second ago. I did not get the cap all the way on. Anyway, what was I? But yeah, I'm generally kind of amazed that porn does not have a dedicated, very happy bank, or large financial institution that is more than happy to work with everything. Like at this point, I know CC Bill is notoriously pretty okay with a lot of adult content stuff, but I'm surprised someone hasn't just come along and said, no, please let us do this. We'll take on all of this. We want it. Because that's kind of, again, it's just so much money. If there wasn't so much money involved, you know, I could understand it, but geez, it's a ton of money, and outside of a few specific issues, most of it's pretty legal. So yeah, color me shocked. Anyway, so I did promise, by the way, so I think we already discussed most of the nuances about the OnlyFans reversal. I think it's safe to say we're going to see a lot of people leaving OnlyFans. In all likelihood, it's both fans that just hate that this decision was made, and a few others who, or obviously a lot of creators who are going to, for one reason or another, either not trust OnlyFans, or they fully expect the ban to happen later, or even if a ban doesn't happen, they might be expecting some of the rules to get really strict, and it ultimately may force them out. So I think a lot of people are planning on leaving just for that, just for the obvious sake that they're going to be kind of eating a really, really challenging future unless they find new platforms, new directions. And keep what I just said at the top of your mind, because that's where I'm going to head when I pivot in a moment. But yeah, I think there's also just the general outcry that this sucks. People who don't subscribe to anyone on OnlyFans don't really pay attention to it. I mean, I've never been a fan of anyone on OnlyFans, so you know, I don't have any personal connection to this, and even I'm looking at this saying, wow, this really sucks. Why would you do this? I think this is bad for business. I think it's a bad strategy. And yeah, it's a rough thing. Let's see, comments. Sounds like the pivot Google Pay needs right now. Oh yeah, I can totally see Google getting involved in this. Never keep your eggs in one basket is real. It's funny you say that, because pivot. So another story happened to pop up on The Verge just today. I think it was today. And that is about this smiling bastard right here. Good old Joe Rogan. If you haven't read this, and I could totally understand why someone might not want to. But it's basically an exploration on the fact that Joe Rogan's podcast, going exclusively to Spotify, has really cost him. Not in money. In all likelihood, he is still making money hand over fist with this move. But it's cost him an influence. Now, this article, honestly, if you read the article, I'll just save you I'll save you the click and the reading time, and basically say they're going out on a bit of a limb saying, hey, if we're judging that he probably lost a bunch of listeners, which I think any sane person could have made that assumption. And their direct assertion is that he does not have the influence that he used to have. In part because fewer listeners, but possibly for other intangibles as well. And their method for measuring this, and this is where, honestly, the article gets sketchy. Their method for making this determination is that people, or after an episode, there used to be an uptick in followers, usually on Twitter, Instagram, and other places. And what they found is after Joe Rogan went exclusive, on average, the number of followers somebody would gain after an appearance on the show was roughly half of what it used to be. And they kind of acknowledged that there could be a few reasons for this. Honestly, I would point to a lot of logical fallacies in their argument, but it doesn't change that I think this is still entirely true. Maybe their numbers and their estimates are off, but basically, once you go into some sort of an exclusive arrangement, you are limiting who is going to find you for obvious reasons. Especially when we're talking about Spotify, where you'd have to be a subscriber, you have to actually pay for something, and not everyone wants to do that for possibly reasons of cost, obviously. It could also just be people who are against monopoly or exclusive arrangements. It could be because people just hate the Spotify app. Show me a person who has Spotify installed on their phone, I'll show you someone who hates the Spotify app. Let's see. So yeah, when you factor in all of this stuff, Joe Rogan has, I mean, he's still influential. He's still popular. There are plenty of people who are still listening to him. It's not like this is destroying his place and reputation. But the fact is, this is now eating into a lot of what he's doing. It is going to take away from, obviously, his growth. It's going to take away from the growth of people who appear on the show. And exclusivity, as is often the case, tends to kind of work against you. It may be profitable, but, you know, whether or not profit is the number one concern can factor in. And we've seen this in other industries. Obviously, go ask Tyler Ninja Blevins about his viewer count once he went over to Mixer. Because, I mean, any person can point to that as an example of, hey, you went from like million, I actually don't know what his peak viewership was, but he went from a massive number of viewers every time he streamed to, hey, look, some people are watching. Like, it was not a lot. These types of exclusivity deals cost people. They cost people a lot. And at this stage, I think it's more than fair to say it's going to become more and more of a tug of war, basically, between companies that need to get their exclusivity, that need to push this sort of advantage, versus the people that are on the platforms, where, you know, they need ways to grow, they need ways to find more audience. And like I said, this all comes together, funny enough. Joe Rogan, OnlyFans, Twitch, all of these things actually really warrant a separate topic, which is, how do people start having, and it's, Diablo, you really hit it earlier with the keeping your eggs all in one basket thing. It's a problem where, honestly, personalities on the internet have to have a wide-ranging net. They have to start really creating a way of talking to people on different platforms, every platform. They need engagement through different platforms. Honestly, one thing that has already existed, it actually exists in pretty copious amounts, management companies. I think are about to become infinitely more important. And it's not just going to be management companies. I think social media management in particular is going to become a very, very critical factor. So, one of the things that if you look into adult entertainment as it stands, a lot of them already have like small management. Well, we'll say managers. I don't want to say management groups or anything like that, but they have management that makes a very active point of engaging on different platforms. So, if you have, let's say, an adult actress out there, she might do her own stuff on Twitter and maybe even on Instagram, but in all likelihood, there's a limit to how much they can do and how much time they can put into it, especially if they're going to be working on actual content production. So increasingly, I think that one of the big industries that's going to be popping up, or rather exploding, is basically going to be management companies whose entire job is to take over building followership and reputation for basically everybody. If you don't have enough money to hire an individual consulting group or something like that, I think we're going to see the rise of sort of the sort of like, if I don't know how many people would remember this, but for a while, assistants, like real human assistants, there was a time where you obviously, people had full-time assistants or even a part-time assistants, but at a certain point it started to become a thing where you could hire like a hour a day kind of assistant, someone who wasn't physically around you, but they did other jobs for you basically over the internet. I kind of feel like we're likely to start crawling into that sort of worldscape where I think a lot of entertainment is going to start requiring this sort of coverage. People who have a followership in the tens of thousands, who they want to spend their day producing content, not necessarily working through social media channels. I have a funny feeling we're going to see a whole lot more of that moving to small management sort of arrangements. And once that's happening, basically stop expecting people to be managing their own Twitter accounts. I mean, this is already a thing. I'm not describing anything that hasn't happened, but I think this is going to become so much more common. This is going to become infinitely more common as there's just more need to diversify, to find an audience on other platforms and other networks. And if you're not getting it by posting to every network, I mean, Joe Rogan used to post to YouTube. He used to have the podcast going out on its own through RSS and regular podcast routes. And he joined Spotify, and there went a lot of his audience. You can look to people who did create partnerships with Twitch, who, they still repost his stuff to YouTube, but a lot of times they're posting it so late, or they don't care anymore. Like, once all of your money is coming through your partnership agreements, you might not really be pushing to other platforms as much. You're going to need those teams who are also going to hang out and basically add other content to those networks. They might, let's say, for example, edit videos together, edit together teasers, put together like media packages that are going to be relevant in each of their given spaces. So, I mean, at this stage, I think this is going to become necessary. And as long as someone has an exclusivity deal with one platform, they don't have as much freedom to post everywhere else. So, yeah. Anyway, that was kind of the takeaway I got from reading a lot of this stuff that came out just today. it's becoming more of a necessity. I mean, I'm not even anywhere near that kind of place, but I feel it constantly. I know that I should be posting more stuff to Twitter, though it honestly is kind of hard to do when I still can't even apply for verification. I'm apparently on the tail end of their rollout for the verification applications, which, come on, Twitter, get your crap together. Which, by the way, for those who don't know, they reclosed verifications. So, or sorry, not verifications in general, but they closed the application process. So only people who are already welcome to apply can reapply. New people are not getting access to the application, which is, what the hell? I can't even fathom their logic, but hey, that's Twitter for you. Anyway, let's see. Quick catch up on comments. Let's see. Diablo, I'd rather be on 100 different apps than one. Yeah, it makes sense. The only catch... Well, let me circle back to that one, because there is a catch to it. Austin, I think he also felt like he could be more controversial with Spotify deal too, and he lost some of his base. Yeah, Rogan definitely did push a few more limits joining Spotify, but I don't think by very much. And I don't doubt he lost some of his base for switching to Spotify, and he lost some of the base for being more controversial, but I think a big part of it too is people just felt less incentivized to share his stuff out to other places. I mean, Joe Rogan would still trend on Twitter fairly often, but not so much that, not enough that I think it was really bringing new people in. And every time he trended on Twitter, it was usually for saying something stupid, so, you know, that doesn't help. Let's see, remember Apple's YouTube exclusivity? Oh, yeah, I definitely remember that. Which, as someone who really wasn't a fan of the band, I didn't care. But yeah, that was so dumb. I'm sure YouTube made plenty of money off of that, but yeah, I think it worked against Apple. It worked against YouTube. There was no positive outcome from that for anybody. Let's see, Diablo. Yeah, you don't only do your interview on CNN. Yeah, and okay. Yeah, I still want to come back to that. I did not forget. Do it everywhere you can. I think singers probably still do have that. If someone can help me, why not? I almost feel like the made by Google social media team. Nice. They're, quote, helping by interacting. Yeah, which, okay. You brought up the interacting, and that's what I was actually going to come back to. You're right. If you want exposure, you want to be on as many platforms as possible. The counter to that is it depends on what kind of exposure and experience you're shooting for. Let's say somebody's on Twitter, and again, we're talking social media account versus coverage. These two things are different, though the coverage can also factor into this. If you're trying to build an audience, it's such an important thing to have some form of back and forth engagement. It doesn't have to be talking to each individual fan. It doesn't have to be discussing every single thing that they come up with or giving them feedback, but it's still being able to react and respond to people who are following on Twitter and elsewhere. It does factor in. And being engaged on a platform does factor in. The thing is, yeah, if you're on, let's say, 100 apps or 100 websites, if you've got the coverage, that's great. It's good for bringing attention, but then if it's, again, social media or something like that, you can't engage with 100 different services. You can't follow that. Obviously, some companies might have that sort of bandwidth, but realistically, it could just never happen. I mean, there are a lot of companies that can't even keep up with just the reactions people get on Twitter. So at a bare minimum, having that sort of you don't necessarily need to hit as many places as possible, but you need to have a good experience with the places you are trying to hit. So, you know, if someone's trying to grow, let's say, their OnlyFans audience through Twitter, obviously they can post, you know, some material. Obviously there are limits that Twitter imposes, but there's some things that people can post, and it is a good way of growing the platform or growing your audience. But if you tried individually to attract an audience through Twitter, Instagram, let's just say Elo, I don't know, I'm at this point, the number of social networks you need to hit really drops off very quickly after like 5. But you know, if you tried to manage all of them, you'd get nowhere. You wouldn't be able to do it. At least you wouldn't be able to do that and also make content at the same time. And you know, that's a challenging thing. But yeah, anyway, so just wanted to say it does come down to what somebody can possibly approach. How far can they actually take a thing? And at this point, I don't think content creators or celebrities of any kind really can do this on their own. And we're past the point where, like, if you're not big enough to warrant having a team or even just an individual employee whose job is like social network media management, at this point you've got to have I think people are going to have to start hiring groups or companies or services that basically do this for sort of smaller people. And at this stage, I'll just say it, just like the banking discussion, if it's OnlyFans, like if I had the money for it, one of the first things I'd love to do right now is just start a media management company whose sole job is working with adult entertainers. Because let's be honest, if you get a few people who are willing to work Twitter, and you've got a few people who are willing to work Instagram, they know what they're doing with photo editing, they know what they're doing with timing, they know what they're doing. Maybe a few people do video edits and cut together teaser reels and stuff like that. That's the kind of thing that you've got to be able to put out on these platforms if you want to build a good audience. And the cost, like if you could hire, I don't know, say 10 people to do this job, and you can get, say, 200, 300 entertainers that are willing to pay a decent fee, not a lot. Honestly, it wouldn't have to be that much, but every month they just maintain your presence. That could be lucrative as hell for everybody. That's beautiful symbiotic relationship. Plus, let's be honest, at that point, you also kind of turn it into agency where your clients, this is going to sound really, really weird to say, but you hook up your clients, which when you're talking about adult entertainment, maybe not the best choice of words, but also it happens in this case to be exactly what it is. But yeah, if you get your clients together and do collaborations and paired off work, you can have so much or you can accomplish so much with this. It's a huge realm of potential money. And at this stage, someone would have to be nuts not to be doing it. I wish I had the money. I would be doing it tomorrow. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Quickly reading comments. Collaborations. I mean, that's what it's called. I wish I was kidding. Actually, I don't wish I was kidding. That's perfect. That is the most euphemistically perfect term you could ever have. Cause I mean, that's what YouTubers would call it. It's not any different. It's the exact same thing, just a different nature of entertainment. Anyway, so yeah, that's I think pretty much what I had to say on this. I think we're going to see a new, largely because of these kinds of events, I think we're going to see a new sort of shift in how marketing is happening. It's going to be bigger, it's going to be more refined, it's going to be more mature. It's the same stuff we've seen actors and actresses doing for years. It's the same thing that companies, like major companies, have been doing for years. But I think we're going to see it happening for the small creators, or relatively small. Anyway, so yeah, that was my take on this. Let's see. I can close that tab. I can kill that tab. Let's see. Who was it? Was it Austin who brought up? Yeah, Austin. Switching over to the Google Samsung 5G thing, which I read that really quickly right before the stream. I don't know how much there is to say on this, but I got a couple of interpretations. So the quick summary on this, and I think there's no surprise here, Samsung is also making the modem tech for the Pixel 6. So they're going to be responsible for bringing 5G to the Pixel phones. I think most people kind of thought this might be coming. There were already a few questions asking, hey, you know, are we going to have 5G in the Pixel 6, or is Qualcomm going to provide the modem? These questions were asked. This is now the answer. Samsung's doing it. And basically, again, there's not really all that much to say individually. Austin, yes, I agree. This is really big for Samsung, if for no other reason than it's the proof of concept, sort of. Maybe that's not the best way to say it, but it's sort of Samsung's, like, big wave saying, oh no, we're in this for real now. Like, they're not going to let Qualcomm be the sole provider anymore. You're not going to rely on Qualcomm to put modems into your phones, which we've seen other companies kind of try to dip into this stuff in the past. It didn't really happen. Now it's happening. And I think this year is going to prove to be really bad for Qualcomm. I mean, all the things that have happened for Qualcomm lately really are, I'm not going to say devastating, but I think Qualcomm stock value, like if you shorted Qualcomm stock, you'd probably be smart. You would be making some money, because I think Qualcomm's just going to have loss after loss after loss fairly soon. Which, you know, sucks. Qualcomm needed competition. So I'm happy to see this. I'm not sure I'm necessarily happy it's Samsung, just in the name of competition. I kind of wish any other company that wasn't as big and already as crazy overpowered in this industry, I kind of wish it were someone else. But that being said, hey, Qualcomm needed its competition. Samsung's there. Let's do this. So let's see. Awesome. How long before they switch to Exynos in the US? It's not like Qualcomm can just go to TSMC and fight Samsung on price. Yeah, that's certainly true. Imagine the bargaining power they have even if they stick with Qualcomm. Qualcomm been waving their flag at news outlets. Look at me, look at me. They're feeling it. Oh, so there's something I can't talk about because I know it's under embargo. Even though I know it's really not, but I can't talk about it because it might include this. But I know Qualcomm is actually really angry at a different situation. But I can say, because we already do know about this, Wear OS. Let's be honest, Wear OS. It's a small market. I don't think Qualcomm really cares about it, but or they don't care that much about it. But I think they can feel the pain of knowing that Wear OS is basically going to be leaving them. Not entirely, but in the short term, at least, Wear OS is kind of shifting away from Qualcomm, or could shift away from Qualcomm, and that's going to hurt. Like this, it probably already wasn't super profitable. Like, this was not the lucrative, oh my god, we're shipping like hundreds of millions of processors kind of a thing. But it was still money that Qualcomm could count on. Now it isn't. And so I'm guessing two biggest smartwatch producers, I don't know. Is Samsung bigger than Fossil, or is Fossil bigger than Samsung in terms of watch shipments? I'm sure someone else probably knows. I just don't know it off the top of my head. But they already didn't have Samsung thanks to Tizen. Now they really won't have Samsung. And they don't have the Apple Watch. And they don't have Fitbit as a possible. They're not going to have the Pixel Watch. They're like, this list of things they don't have shipping for Wear is getting real, or for them to ship watch processors on, it's getting real skinny. It's basically just down to Fossil and like the Tick Watch and a couple of other oddballs. So I feel like Qualcomm is feeling the crunch already. And if Samsung starts producing 5G modems, especially if they start licensing them out to anybody, that could start hurting so much. I mean, this is like, Qualcomm was never really good at the processor business, but they were good at modems. They were good at wireless. This is going to eat into a lot of their wireless, possibly. So Samsung is primed to possibly be very, very, very hurtful to Qualcomm in the near future. Let's see. Imagine. I think we'll see an Exynos RDNA 2 SoC on the S22 Ultra. I don't know enough about it to make any particular comments on that, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's how to say, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some very, very big aggressive moves out of Samsung in the very near future. It just makes sense. And why wouldn't they? By the way, TSMC delayed 3 nanometer. Okay. I don't know if that's really gonna be too troublesome, but we'll see. They'll have the Lenovo smart glasses. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's gonna save Qualcomm. Let's see. I'd like to see MediaTek make a move now. So would I, but I feel like they're not ready. Which means relatively little. I mean, in truth, like, big deal. If they're not ready, give it a couple years. It's not like MediaTek is hurting for money. They're doing okay. They're just still competing at that low and mid range. But give it a few years, they might be able to make their big push. And MediaTek was gaining attention already a few years ago. I wouldn't put it past them to make some moves fairly soon. That being said, I wonder how much they have in terms of like talent for the high end. We'll see. That could be interesting. Anyway, so yeah, my big takeaway on the Samsung bring their own modem, though, is that this truly finally pushes Qualcomm to stop holding back. They're going to have to fight tooth and nail. Also, in the weirdest of ways, I think that this is only going to incentivize people more to get a Pixel 6. Because anyone who was already kind of just wanting a change, anything new, or people who are just curious how this is going to perform, I think a lot of them are going to be interested in this. That being said, to be fair, there's also a whole lot of first gen stuff happening here. First gen 5G modem, first gen Tensor or Whitechapel. I'm not sure what name we want to go on with this, but yeah, first generation Google Silicon, in theory, kind of. There's a lot of firsts happening here. Possibly, was it first use of that camera sensor? I think. The one that we discussed last week. Which, okay, that's not really first generation, but it's, I think, maybe the first phone to be using that Samsung sensor. You start packaging all this stuff together and holy crap, like the Pixel 6 is very likely going to have a whole lot of firsts kind of built into it. That could be interesting. There's a lot of stuff that could happen here. I mean, I don't know, but let's see. Fun thing, the 5123 modem can't do CA on T-Mobile 5G. So we'll see if the Pixel B version can. Okay, I'm not familiar enough with this, but CA, I know that looks familiar, but I can't place it. Anyway, so you're thinking that there's going to be 2 variants of each Pixel? No, it's been on Chinese. Oh, the Samsung sensor has been on Chinese phones? Okay. To be fair, Chinese phones, you know how their photo processing goes. We'll see. That's probably not the best use of that sensor. No offense really intended, but they do some really interesting processing, and so it can cause, I don't think they're really getting the best out of that sensor. Let's see. So quickly just, oh, okay. So I'm quickly just looking to see if there were any big topical things happening. Damn it, Discord worked better. Oh god. Okay, I saw something I can't talk about, but I'm gonna have to look at that in a minute. Oh, carrier aggregation. Got it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they'd have to... Yeah, I don't know. I also wonder, because the modem's going to have to be friendly with Google Fi too. So anything involving Fi is going to have to be... It's probably going to complicate the situation in at least a few ways. I've wondered a little bit if maybe what they're going to do with Fi might be heavily based on eSIM and basically try to maintain two connections simultaneously. Anyway, let's see. Oh, I see. So they have a B version of the modem. Got it. Okay, that makes more sense to me. So, I mean, they're going to have to for Fi. Obviously, they'll do it for T-Mobile too, but I mean, they're going to have to do a lot of stuff to make sure that it's Fi compatible. And I kind of don't believe that Google's going to push out a phone that won't work correctly on Fi. Like, it would be one thing if they push out a phone, or sorry, it'd be one thing if they released, or sorry, supported having a phone on Fi that doesn't work correctly or fully. But I think it would be a terrible look if Google pushed out something that didn't work correctly with Fi. Sliding, completely their fault. They showed how much they didn't care about Wear OS. I'm assuming Sliding was a little bit behind on the stream, which cool. And just to answer that, yeah, completely agreed. Holy crap. I mean, Qualcomm, I said it way back. I understood why Qualcomm did not give enough attention or support to Wear OS. Totally get it. I don't blame them. Wear OS isn't making enough money to justify big investments into making a processor suited for it, or at the time at least. But at a certain stage, like, that was a delay tactic. It's one thing to say, all right, we don't want to support, or we don't want to spend a ton of money investing in a new platform for this. And so as a result, it was what, the 2100, I think. I could be mistaken, but I think it was the Wear 2100. It was basically just some recycled old cores that weren't really cutting it in any other use. So they decided to stick a big and a little in there and just run on that. Like, I get why they did it. It makes sense. It was a terrible build, and it really never got used properly. Google did not really optimize for it in a really good way. Like, there were a lot of problems there, and it was on Qualcomm. Like, Qualcomm gave them nothing to work with. Shockingly, Google turned around and said, all right, we want to go elsewhere. We're going to do this other thing. And Qualcomm has no one to blame but itself. You know, it really is that simple. Let's see. Carson posted into the gaming channel, Ubisoft get 1 month of 100+ games for $1. And it works on Stadia and Luna. Neat. So that'd be a really nice way to sort of demo play a whole bunch of stuff. But man, I wish it lasted more than a month. If it lasted more than a month, I'd consider doing that for game streams. But I'd never be able to play through anything in a month. And how much is their monthly? It mentioned that in the gaming channel because I'm a little curious. If the monthly's not bad, I may look into it. Let's see. RambleCast. Be sliding with the Wear links. Okay, really quick, I'll pull those up. Even though it's on Forbes, and Forbes is you. But, let's see. Oh, jeez. And this is why you don't like Forbes. If you can read that in the screen, then you get why. But, anyway. So yeah, basically Apple dominates the market. After that, oh wow, Huawei holds 8%. That actually is surprising to me. I honestly thought Samsung was going to be higher by like a lot. But anyway, so okay, kind of just streaming down. Fossil's the other. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. It's weird that they say other, but I'm assuming that's because they're splitting it up really strangely. Or rather, they're probably merging a whole bunch of Fossil sub-brands together, but not counting it just ostensibly as Fossil. Okay. Anyway, and then the Statista link. Okay. Yeah, okay. That has information, but I'm not really gonna click through for it. Or not gonna pay for it. Okay. Let's see. So, what was I gonna say? I've now spaced. But regardless, this strikes me as great for the industry today, possibly a little dangerous for the industry in the future if Samsung is successful enough at tearing down Qualcomm's control. If things swing too far in Samsung's direction, then we end up back in sort of monopoly territory, and that becomes a problem. I mean, we're already kind of there with phones in general, and if it becomes the components that Samsung just owns all of, this could be rough days ahead, but at least in the meantime, this looks really good. Let's see. Others and every other OEM combined. Yeah. Fitbit Charge 5 is official. Mentioned Android Wear watch during the presentation. Oh, yeah. Trying to remember if I had anything to say on that. I don't think so. I didn't look too closely, but yeah. I mean, at this stage, we're gonna see. I don't have any specific knowledge on this, but I think it's safe to say we're going to see most of Fitbit probably shift to being run by Android Wear. Maybe not entirely. Maybe they'll keep like a specific line that's just super lightweight, low power bands. But I have a funny feeling Fitbit's going to start digging its heels in and becoming a Wear provider all to itself. And then Google will likely have its own Pixel watch that is just like the one featured brand item every year. That's my guess. I who knows? But it would sort of fit with the general look. Let's see. I don't know. Is there any other angle to sort of touch on here? Like I said right from the start, honestly, I did not think it'd even be this much of a topic, but I don't think there's a whole lot of specific surprise that Samsung is providing a modem here. And I don't think there's any surprise that Qualcomm was quick to give a response that was quite literally millimeter wave is hard. I mean, I believe that's exactly... Oh, sorry. Quote, a modem is not enough to support millimeter wave in phones. So, I mean, very close to a literal, it's really hard, we don't think they can do it. Which is, no. I don't... There's a chance that millimeter wave may still require a little bit more that Qualcomm is doing special, but let's be honest. Give it 6 months. Samsung's probably going to have that worked out too. I mean, Samsung's not going to have that much trouble keeping up with Qualcomm on this stuff, because radio technology, yes, it's actually kind of a hard thing to get right. The reality is it's there, and it's not like another company can't reproduce it or build the components to do it. At most, Qualcomm's big advantage here is they still have some patents that Samsung would have to pay for. But big whoop. You know, that just means Qualcomm's not going to die easily. They'll have money coming in. But it doesn't mean that Samsung isn't going to take away a lot of their customers. So, let's see. Well, quickly. All right. remember who's making Verizon 5G and millimeter wave vRAN? I don't know if that's a question or a hint, but I do not know. Samsung is far from a virgin in the 5G and millimeter wave space. Exactly. I mean, are they as far along? No, but I'm sure they're catching up. Diablo, bringing up Samsung's other news for today. I actually almost wrote that post. I was really close to taking it, and then I kind of looked at the clock and realized I didn't really have time to get into it. But yeah, sure. There's a quick one here, and I don't know that I have a lot to say on this, but I could dig into it for a minute. So, yeah, for those who haven't heard, the quick summary on this is Samsung has built technology into its TVs so it can remotely brick them. This is just like phones, and it's not actually bricking them. It's just making it so that they are only very, very limited functionality. You can't play anything on the screen. You can basically just turn them on. They can connect to the internet long enough, or not long enough, but they can connect so that they can be told whether or not the TV is allowed to function. But outside of that, they don't do much. So this is basically meant as an anti-theft measure. It's IoT. Yeah, it's an anti-theft measure. And they're right now aiming it at, I believe it was Africa. I keep bumping the mic halo. Sorry if I'm causing any weird audio stuff when I do that. Let's see. Yeah, they're starting it in South Africa, but this is, let's be honest, this is aimed for worldwide. And the reason why I almost took this, and almost the reason why another reason why I almost didn't, is that all I could think about was last year's looting. How many people do you think went into Best Buys or Targets or anywhere else, and the first thing that they went and got was a big screen TV? I mean, it's literally what all those videos were showing of looters going through these stores. They were literally going into those stores and walking out with TVs. Not all of them Samsung, but this is the thing. Hands down, this is all about, this is big time theft prevention, and you can count on it. Looters, I bet anything last year's events really incentivized Samsung to do this. Yes, it obviously is going to be a big deal in South Africa, where looting is, various forms of theft and looting are already really common, but guaranteed, the stuff going on in the US and in a few other countries had to be big incentive. And I wouldn't be surprised if a few other companies start doing this too. Probably LG in the very near future. And after that, a lot of the budget companies maybe join them too. Frankly, and this possibly goes to a really big theory, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like Android TV straight up start supporting this as like a built-in feature. It's a weird thought, I admit, but I could totally see that happening. Because, I mean, Android as an OS already basically supports this in a limited capacity. You know, why wouldn't they start adding this to their TVs? Just a thought. I mean, that would really only impact, I think, Sony, and I think there was one other company using Android TV, like, out of the box on their TVs. But, you know, it would also make sense for set-top boxes. It would make sense for a lot of other products that, you know, maybe don't have a big theft problem, but if it's high enough, maybe. Diablo, unplug the internet, says Robbers. Yeah, that is one thing I did wonder about. Like, all you really have to do is never plug them in, and you'll be okay. But how much that is a good solution, I don't know. One thing I do think is going to be a problem is there are going to be so many people who legitimately or semi-legitimately buy TVs that were at one time stolen and don't realize that they just bought a stolen TV, at which point they're going to end up with a brick TV, which is going to piss off a lot of them. I mean, that is going to become a real issue. Use a Chromecast. Yeah, basically. Use a Chromecast, use or, you know, any Android TV set-top box. Use, to hell, obviously, like, all of them. Roku, Apple TV, whatever. But, yeah, we'll see. I still think that this is going to be an interesting thing. One thing that also makes me wonder is there any possibility that Samsung will use, because, by the way, this is a thing you can do, an internet connection over HDMI. That is a real thing. Now, a lot of stuff doesn't support it, but you can actually have internet over HDMI. So what are the possibilities that all Samsung TVs might be checking to see if they can reach out through your connected devices? And if they can then if they can phone home and find out, oh, hey, I've been blacklisted, then even using something like a Chromecast or set-top box may not solve this. Plus, you may not be able to connect over cable. You may not be able to connect over various other things. There's a lot of interesting possibilities where the TV you may never give it a connection and it still gets one. I don't know if they built that in, but I have a lot of questions here. I'm also a little curious if there's ways for this to backfire. Like, could somebody possibly trick Samsung into blocking certain serial numbers or TVs or whatever you want to say? Is it possible that they're going to accidentally block some of the wrong ones? And in what method are they using to create their block list? Are they blacklisting TVs that they know for sure have been stolen? Are they, like, when somebody sells a TV, are they recording the serial number of the TV being sold? I know that happens in some places. Is it happening all over the place? Does it happen in South Africa? Do they have that infrastructure for doing it? And what happens in all of these scenarios? So, a lot of questions. I think there are some implementation details that, well, there are obviously implementation details they didn't share, but I think some of those are going to get messy. Rena Center's like, hey, Tommy, we didn't get this TV back. Yeah. Call Samsung. And also, even if you can manage to keep your TV from connecting to the internet, and there are definitely ways you could do that, what are the odds that maybe the TV will sort of have a time limit on it where it starts demanding a connection to the internet? This doesn't feel likely, but I don't know that I'd rule it out. I don't know. There's a lot that makes me suspicious about this. I want to know more. And are there possibly any other sneaky tricks it has for disabling the TV, like for calling home that we don't expect? Like, is it possible the TV is maybe quietly broadcasting its number, and any Samsung phone that comes near, and I'm just making something up, I have no idea if this would be a thing, but maybe it's kind of like smart tags, where any phone that's nearby that in this case would be made by Samsung, maybe it just receives that ping and it silently calls back to Samsung, says, hey, is this TV cool? And if it gets kind of like a kill report, then the phone reports back to the TV and says, no, you need to actually shut down. And then the TV's like, yep, we got you. We got you. You didn't know it was going to happen, but we got you. I mean, would you want to own a TV that you can't even bring a phone around because it might cause the TV to shut down entirely? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I don't think they're that insidious. That is super, super far out in terms of what might happen. But maybe it doesn't happen today. Maybe it would be something that they add in a couple of years if they spot that robbers have found a way around, or have notified people don't give an internet signal. Buggy signals sent to everyone. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying I could see some weird potential here. So yeah, anyway, there was that happened, or is happening, kind of. I don't have much to say on this one, but I am gonna quickly bring up Wing, the drone delivery service. This is Google, Alphabet, whatever you want to say. 100 million TVs shut off in one swoop. Yikes. But yeah, so I don't know how much I have to say about this. More, I just think it's cool. For anyone who hasn't heard, this is the drone delivery service that started a few years back. They've been doing testing in Australia, Finland, was it, and the US. It was Finland, right? Yeah, Finland. And they're basically just doing this in sort of small but not rural areas, just more suburb kind of stuff. And they have a very limited selection of what they deliver. They're doing a lot of experimenting with it still, but so far they're hitting 100,000 deliveries in the next few days, I think it's going to be, or maybe next couple weeks, something like that. And they're basically talking about how effective this is starting to be, how they're looking to expand, things like that. One of the things that really gets me is everyone keeps talking about major cities, where presumably this would be a great thing if you live in a major city and you'd be able to have something delivered. But then in the same breath, they almost always turn around and say, which, by the way, this article happens to have this exact discussion, but in the same breath they mention, by the way, a whole crap load of places can't do this because they're too dense. They have too many people, and buildings are too close together. There are too many obstructions, things like that. I look at this and I think, I still think the bigger opportunity here is delivery to rural areas. I mean, I live out in the middle of nowhere, but there are lots of people that live around me. I'm just saying, in my mind, what you want to do is stick these things on top of like UPS and FedEx trucks, and the delivery person drives out to a central location. They put the packages onto the drones and let them fly. Now a UPS delivery person does not have to visit each of these individual places that are all like, a 4 or 5 minute drive away from that central location. They just let the drones do the delivery while they themselves probably do a couple deliveries. And then when the drones get back, they just land back on top of the truck. Maybe, I don't know. How cool would it be if they stack? I'm just going to say, how cool would that be? And this saves gas. It saves time. You could deliver so much to nearby locations that are all just middle of nowhere kind of stuff. I mean, Um, oh, I'm sure they're thinking about this. They have to be. It's probably more that FedEx and UPS just aren't on board with doing this yet. Let's see. But if we go to Maps, good old Google Maps, let's pop on a satellite view. I'm just gonna pick kind of a random, maybe not that random, but okay. So, what is the? Okay, that's not helpful. Where's the freaking? Oh, I see it. Okay. All right. So just popping on. This is a view of. It's an area not too far from where I live. This is 15-20 minute drive from where I am ish, something like that. I mean, you can see that these are places that are all really spread apart. And okay, this little spot happens to have some density to it. This isn't too crazy, but as you venture out, like, how would you want to be a UPS driver who has to go to there? Like, that looks like, what is that? Probably 2 homes, because I think that third building is probably like a shed or garage or something. And this could just be one person's home. It's hard to say with certainty, but, how would you want to drive this road to deliver a package? I guess you could stop at this house if you had a package for them. Like, or would you rather park, let's say, right up here, main road, pull off somewhere, and let the drone drop off something there. Another one could drop something there. One maybe drops something there. Oop. Yeah, go away. Wasn't trying to pull you up. And then one of them flies all the way out and drops something there. For a UPS driver, no joke, for a UPS driver to make those 5 deliveries I just described, that's probably, I'm gonna guess, 25 to 30 minutes. But if they park their vehicle, let those drones go out as quick as they can, I bet your delivery time, 10, maybe 15 tops. And that's counting loading up each drone individually with the right package, setting them to go off in their own direction. You're going to have to do this one by one still. I mean, you get them going out simultaneously, but you've got to one by one, like, here's the drone, here's the package that goes with you, here's the place where it goes. It just makes sense. I mean, this is so much faster. And again, the gas alone makes such a huge difference. I would not want to pay UPS or pay their gas bill. Like, to pay to drive around those trucks down each of these roads sucks. And it's safer, it's easier. Like, it is just so much common sense. Imagine if each truck was just loaded down with 5 drones. This is the future of delivery, I think. Base item, is it weird you can't wait to watch Flossie Carter's real review for a phone you've already purchased? It's over an hour long. I mean, I'm not judging you on this or anything, but yeah, I don't have a ton of respect for Flossie. And it's actually not really entirely based on him. It's actually more that stupid drama that occurred because him and David Ruddock had a pissing match with each other, because that spilled over onto me. I mean, I already don't really think much of him as a reviewer. Not in a bad way necessarily, I just don't pay attention to him, and I think I think the way he does reviews is just kind of awkward. But you know, that's just a case of it not being my style. It's the same reason I don't watch like Unbox Therapy. I don't like his reviews. I don't like the style of his reviews. It's weird and creepy to me. For what it's worth, I also don't really I don't get super into MKBHD's reviews for also similar reasons. Though with MKBHD, it's just entirely a straight up like he's just there for the pretty B-roll of the phone, and that's about it. Let's see. But yeah, it also spilled over on us at AP because there were fans of Flossie who straight up threatened some of us. One of, at least, well, I think it was two, but at least one of them tried doxing me and tried to encourage people to come get the teardown guy. Which was funny because by then I think either I had stopped doing teardowns or I was about to. I forget. But yeah, like he does not have a healthy fan base. And this isn't a judgment on all of his fans, but he has some screwed up fans. So I'm already not a fan of him for that reason alone. Also, as Austin brought up, yes, he knew full well that he was getting involved in a scam. That, like, you know, say what you will about him other than that, but knowing full well you're getting involved in a scam and encouraging people to buy into it, yeah, that's bad. The paid reviews thing also, I don't know enough about the specifics on that, but it sounds like he was not. It sounds like he was on a pretty, at least shaky ground, if not highly unethical. But again, I did not catch the details of that one very clearly, so I'm not having too much of an opinion there. Not without digging in more. Diablo, if we take the reviewer out of the question, still watch videos for something bought and I'm waiting for. Oh yeah, I've watched reviews for stuff that I bought already. I've done it several times actually. Not necessarily for a specific reason, just kind of the general. Sometimes I want to see like how other people are using products. Sometimes I want to see maybe if they're calling out a feature or quality to something that I hadn't previously noticed. Every once in a while, it's just because maybe when I bought something, I know this will sound kind of weird, but when I bought something, I had some excitement for it. By the time I got it, maybe that excitement waned a little bit. And so I kind of want to see the review again, just for kind of the refresher of what I was feeling when I bought the thing. So yeah, I'm totally with you on the idea of this. Yeah, watching reviews for things you already have is totally solid. Let's see. Beside him, don't care about the drama. He does good reviews. Yeah, I mean, it's everyone's got different taste. Like I said, his reviews are just not my thing. Let's see. Austin, his reviews are just rambling designed to game YouTube algorithms with minimal talent required. So Austin, look, just to be fair, you're watching a show called the RambleCast. I mean, I'm just saying. I granted, of what I have seen of Flossie's stuff, yeah, his thing is different. Because I remember whatever video it was where he just straight up threatened AP. Like I actually had it downloaded, and just in case we needed it for evidence, because he straight up said if he ever runs into any member of AP at an event, he would beat our asses.
This was a direct claim by him. So, you know, his words, very specific. He was threatening violence against people over bullshit. Anyway, the thing is, the rest of that video, not all of it, obviously. He did talk about the phone, but he spent a whole lot of it just like talking to a random person who was in the apartment with him or hotel room or something. And it really wildly went off into other directions. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I also watch reviews on a camera related stuff, reviews by a guy who goes by the name Potato Jet. Half of his reviews are him out playing with the drone, and the review may not have anything to do with the drone, and talking to his girlfriend and playing with the dogs and stuff like that. No denying a lot of his stuff can also wander off in other directions, but to me, Flossie's thing feels a lot more like literally just set a camera pointed at you, ramble about a phone for a minute, and then just kind of do the random thing after that for a while, and then kind of comes back to talking about the phone for a little bit. I guess what I could say about that is it needs editing, because from what I saw, and I don't know, maybe he's changed this. I'm talking obviously about something I saw 2 years ago, whenever it was. He could really edit the video. It like even cutting it, because the video I saw, I don't recall there being any cuts. He just literally sort of brain dump, and it was just continuous. He had a lot of long pauses, a lot of kind of not saying anything, and it didn't like it doesn't come out as a professional review. It just comes out as a brain dump. It's a ramble, again, what I'm doing right now, but maybe less organized. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I'm not trying to review, and again, I'm not judging people for watching it. I'm just explaining why I personally don't find that sort of content interesting. As far as saying that he's rambling designed to game the YouTube algorithm, I actually don't agree with that entirely. I mean, it takes advantage of the YouTube algorithm, but I don't think it's designed to do that. I think he just wants to record a video and upload it, and he doesn't bother to edit it. Like, I think he just doesn't care about that. It just so happens that it also takes advantage of the YouTube algorithm by being extraordinarily long. And that's the whole thing. It is just a very long video, which for YouTube is great because the longer the video, the more ads get cycled in and out. And as a result, that is a huge benefit for him and YouTube. But yeah, it is what it is. So B-slide him as if reviews took talent. You know, there's actually a lot I could say on that, but I'm going to both agree and disagree. Honestly, you don't need talent to be a reviewer. Not at all. I mean, I could throw so much shade right now. I'm not going to, but let's just say there's a lot of shade that could go all over the place. But the reality is, a review is quite literally trying something, then expressing opinions about it. Very literally, take a product like these wonderful OnePlus Buds Pro, which I am totally not actually paid to say that. So at this same moment, I could wait. Where did I put them? Oh, they're there. You could take those wonderful OnePlus Buds Pro or OnePlus Buds Pros, I guess, Or, yeah, you thought that was a transition. It's kind of not, or is. I don't know. Or you could take the Razer Hammerhead or Klipsch T52 True Wireless ANC earbuds, both of which I will be reviewing over the next couple weeks. Yeah, there's the transition. Anyway, the thing is, are you how much skill does it take to review something? Not necessarily that much. I mean, if all you're doing is literally just taking a thing and then expressing your opinions about it, you're a reviewer. Go on Amazon, scroll down. Those are reviewers. I mean, not all of them are good at it. Some of them pop in and say and complain about the shipping. Some of them complain that the packaging sucks, and then they tell you nothing about the product. So not all reviewers are good at it. But I mean, it is absolutely true. It doesn't take a whole lot of talent to review a thing. That doesn't mean that there aren't skilled, good reviewers where it does take a lot of talent. I mean, and it takes talent in two particular ways. One is how you present that information. I mean, somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're doing with writing is going to write a bad review. Or most likely they're going to write a review poorly. They're going to, somebody might be reviewing the OnePlus Buds and they have no clue what it is that they're actually, or how to say something about it. They could spend paragraphs talking about how the buds are magnetized in the case and how special that is to them. There's no reason to have that conversation. It isn't necessary. But they might also have some good opinions. They just don't know how to express them. The other thing, which debatable if it's talent or not, but the other thing that you have to, or the other thing that makes a good reviewer is knowing what to look for. Or in some cases also knowing that there's a particular thing you want to discuss. So for example, let's see. One of the things, I didn't end up including this in my review for reasons I could go into if anyone cares, but man, it's just such a long conversation. But I did not discuss in my review that the OnePlus Buds Pro have a little bit of latency with Android TV. And the truth of the matter is, it's not that it's Android TV, it's some apps on Android TV, like Plex. I paired this and watched a show on Plex, and there was about a quarter-second delay. Stream keeps buffering. Let's see. I'm not seeing. Oh no, that was. Okay, the only warning I see about data is from an hour and a half ago. Oh, wait, that's when I started the stream. Well, a little more than an hour and a half. Sorry, hour 45. So yeah, the only warnings I have are from the very beginning of the stream. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure, because if it's me, I obviously need to fix it. If it's you, then I want you to know. Anyway, so yeah, a good reviewer is going to know to check. They're going to know to check that certain things work on a product. They're going to, a good reviewer is going to take the time to make a phone call using the buds, not just listen to music through them or play games through them. They're going to want to determine, hey, this, the mics in these things are good or bad for making phone calls. That matters to some people. And a bad reviewer, or not a bad reviewer, but an inexperienced reviewer isn't necessarily going to try each and every function. A really good reviewer is going to try that. And very notably, sometimes a good or bad reviewer also is limited by the other circumstances, like maybe they don't get paid enough to try everything. This is something I know a couple of other people are complaining about a lot right now. Not naming names, but you may be able to make some guesses. And yeah, there is talent involved in reviewing, but you don't have to have talent to be a reviewer, if that makes sense. It's kind of like anyone can be a blogger. Doesn't mean you're going to be a successful blogger. And honestly, you can be a successful blogger and have no talent. You just have to have something enough people really, really care about. Austin, Artem is a limiting factor. That is actually not what I was talking about. He can be. I mean, he certainly played a very big role in limiting some other stuff. But, yeah, I wouldn't say he's a limiting factor in reviews. At least not in my direct experience. Well, wait, actually I take that back. Recently, he has not been in my direct recent experience. In the past, one of these days when I get to tell some stories, I will have some stories. Anyway, maybe make a note of that one. We'll talk about that one someday when it comes up. Someday in the future. Let's see. Anyway, Austin, I'm going back to the earlier comments now. Right after B-Slime said, as if reviews to talent, Austin said he probably spends little to no time on reviews outside of hitting record and upload. Look, regarding Flossie, I think that one's probably... Okay, here's the thing. I bet that's probably true in some cases. I don't think it's going to be true in all of them, because you can BS your way sometimes. I mean, I will demonstrate right now. Easy demonstration. Note, this is the plastic that was still sealing the Razor Hammerheads. These are as fresh out of the box as it gets. I mean, I kept thinking I should set up and do an unboxing, and I didn't set up my camera for it. Jeez, this box was on tight. Anyway, I mean, you could literally just BS your way through so easily. Like, package off the case. Right now, I could spend 10 minutes BSing about these right now. I could comment on every little detail. The fact that, I don't know that you can really see it, but the logo is the logo is green. So it's, the green screen is obviously gonna make that not work. But, I could make up things to say about these earbuds right on the spot. I could talk about them being glossy. I could obviously ramble about the sticks being really long. Like these actually are. These are going to be so big in the ear. Oh wait, I haven't taken pictures of these yet. I'm not putting them in my ears. That's not happening right now. But I was just about to demo them and see like how far they stick out of the ear, but yeah, that's definitely not happening. Because I'm a very big fan of getting the pictures of stuff before you make something ugly and nasty. And the very last thing I want to do is be trying to clean any amount of like ear gunk off of these before trying to demo them. If you even saw how much dust I had to clean up off the pictures I did post, oh my god, it is so dusty right now. But, ooh. Oh, hey, this wasn't supposed to be an unboxing. It really isn't, but the charging cable
out of these things. I actually really like it. It is a nice braided cable. It's not super long, which black cable, so you can't really see a whole lot, but it's about a foot long cable. It actually comes with cable caps or plug caps, whatever you want to call them, so nothing's getting in. Like, that's actually a nice, it's a really small minor thing, but that's actually a nice touch. Kudos to Razer for that one. But I look for the thing that holds the earbuds in and literally pick it up to look under it to find it, if that makes sense. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you can BS straight through without much trouble. That being said, I bet almost anything Flossie is not going to do that with everything. I bet with something like the Fold, he's going to screw with it for at least a day, if not longer, just so he at least has some comfort in talking about it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have a feeling he's not phoning it in with everything. Though I bet I have a feeling he probably does with a few things. Let's see, awesome. I mean, they should take at least some talent in video editing. I mean, if that's it, I actually agree with Ish beside him on the point that there is a market for mostly unedited videos. In his case, I don't think they need to be edited. Like, they don't have to be nice B-roll king videos. But I think it would be nice if he literally just cut out some of the crap that ends up in the videos. Like, I mean, I literally watched him just get up, turn around, and talk to somebody who was in a different room for a little bit, and it had nothing to do with the review. It wasn't funny, it wasn't interesting. Like, that doesn't need to be in a video. You can edit it more than that. Austin, TikTok videos have better editing than his reviews. Well, that's true. That is also a low bar. That is a real low bar. Okay, anyway, let's see. Hey, I have a green screen, thus professional. Fair enough. Austin, show off the quick pair on Android. Which, yeah, funny enough, there was a bunch of arguing over the OnePlus Buds not supporting Google's quick pair. I don't see why that even needed to be mentioned. It is such a non-topic. Because and someone correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I misunderstood, but as far as I can tell, Google's quick pair protocol is so that you don't have to pair a device with other devices signed in with your Google account. And it's not like this transitions between a ton of different products. It's basically just between phones and, I'm guessing, maybe Chrome OS. Are you telling me people have such a problem pairing their buds that they can't do it twice? It's not like a lot of people are walking around with several different phones. It's not like people are walking around like buying a new phone every week. This is something that only matters to reviewers, and even very few of them. I don't get why anyone cares about that. It's such a minor thing. So, yeah. Anyway, there was a suggestion that I needed to either add that to the review, or that there maybe should even be a whole second article about the OnePlus Buds not having Google's fast pair or quick pair, or whatever it's called. I could not care less. I do not think that matters at all. And the steps to pair them with, where did I set them?
Oh, on top of my camera lens. Seriously, I really wish they had sent me the white ones. Because, oh my god, I've set this black case down on so many surfaces. It's non-reflective. It is so easy to lose this thing. I have had the hardest time keeping track of it. Anyway, yeah, the thing is, in order to pair these, all you do is have the buds in the case and hold down this button for 3 seconds. And that's pairing mode. And then you turn on pairing mode on your phone and hit one button and they're paired. That's it. Like, this is not a hard thing to do. I don't understand why anyone made a big deal out of pairing. Anyway. So, yeah, moving on. Yeah, look, package came busted, 2 stars. I know that's in response to the Amazon reviewers thing. There's the buffering conversation. B-side, I'm really looking forward to my new watch. Love complete ecosystems. Completely understand the appeal with Apple. Galaxy Book may be the next PC. Awesome. Yeah, believe me, I get it too. For their reasons why I'm not personally jumping into complete ecosystems, but I also like them. Or I like the synergy you can have. I just wish, this will sound weird, but I really wish a few companies could get together and decide that they're going to make their ecosystems friendly with each other. I know that sounds completely counterintuitive. It's exactly the opposite, but I'll tell you, the thing is, I want a MacBook Pro, but I do not want an iPhone. I mean, I want one for testing and a couple of purposes, but I don't want to use an iPhone as my main phone. It's going to be an Android phone, and in all likelihood a Pixel. But man, I really wish I could have some sort of way to really have that good, clean ecosystem crossover. And I can understand having some synergy between products that are made by one brand. But man, it's almost never going to work out for me if it's going... I can't name a single brand that I want all of their products. I don't want an iPhone. I'm great with a MacBook Pro. I'd love to have an iPad. I'd be okay with AirPods. I don't have anything against them that I'm aware of, but it is what it is. But I do not have any interest in making an iPhone my main phone. Under Samsung, I'd kind of like to have one of Samsung's laptops. That sounds good as a secondary laptop. It wouldn't be my primary, but you know, believe me, I can make use of a second one. I don't really have much of an opinion on their buds. Haven't tried any of them. The reviews have been good, but not necessarily like must have. So, and by that, it's not a dig at them. It's more of a, there are so many good buds out there, and nothing about most of Samsung's buds really sets them apart and makes me think, oh, these are the ones to have over anyone else's. And as such, I would probably just choose someone else's, because Samsung's are, purely by virtue of the app not being on iOS, their buds are at least a little more limited than others. Let's see. Oh, that next comment. And trust me, there is no power on this earth that is going to make me touch Chrome OS. I don't care. I like having a Pixel phone. And when a Pixel Watch comes out, I'll probably get that. But there is no power that is going to get me onto Chrome OS. I will not be running a Chromebook. It's not even an option, not with what I do. Zero possibility of this. It maybe in 5 years when they finally make it not suck entirely. Sorry to those who are Chromebook fans. But I don't see that even happening. Yeah, that's just an ecosystem I don't need to be in. or rather, I don't need to try to get a whole ecosystem. And that's the thing. I like the Google phone that I have. I'd consider a Samsung phone. I'm not going to get an iPhone. I like the MacBook Pro. I'd be down for a Galaxy Book, but zero chance of Chromebook. Watches, probably Google. Though if I had a choice, I guess I'd probably go maybe Apple Watch too. And I haven't tried the Samsung Watch, so I don't know. That actually could be good too. But yeah, if you're getting things that you like or consider the best for you, sadly, so often it means not getting to play within the ecosystem or having all the ecosystem benefits, which makes it a shame that we can't have a couple of companies get together and say, you know what, we can extend our ecosystem stuff to you if you'll extend some stuff to us. I know it would never happen between Apple and Samsung, and probably never between Apple and Google. And actually, it would never happen between Apple and OnePlus. As I start thinking about the list of companies, Apple will never do this with anybody. But I could see maybe a couple of other companies get together and say, hey, you know what? Samsung and OnePlus maybe get together and they build some ecosystem stuff, so their things could be friendly with each other. That would be pretty neat. I don't know if it's coincidence, but I see LG mentioned in the comments below. Just barely seeing that. And yeah, I could see LG deciding at this point that they can start partnering with everyone now that they're not trying to compete on phones. Anyway, I'm gonna have to catch up on comments a little bit here. So Austin, can't wait till AP's adding a maple syrup resistance rating to phone reviews. I mean, I kind of want to do that now. Anyway, LEDs on earbuds are no for B-Slide. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Right now, I think they're just meant to be lights. Oh wait, I don't know actually. Maybe they do go on all the time. I don't know. I will have to judge that separately. If the LEDs are not on most of the time, if they're only on when like when you want them to be, or when they're in pairing mode, or like a help me find the bud if it falls somewhere, that's a great use for it. If the buds happen to be on just because you're listening, screw that noise, they need to go in the trash. So I will be either very generous with the idea of the LEDs, or I will be like hateful as hell. We'll see which way it goes. Hey David Llama, sorry I missed you when you first joined. I'm falling behind. And damn this chat room. As much as I love the chat exists in the form that it does, I hate that as you scroll down, it loves to jump to the bottom. It is not a smooth scroll. Anyway, B-Slide him, and he has taglines and white shoes. I assume we're talking about Flossie, so okay. And you hate cats? No, unacceptable. Cats are incredible. There's a reason there was an entire civilization that worshipped them. Let's see. Okay. Diablo, wish they can copy Apple's smart connecting, like know when I'm on the computer or whatever in Switch. Yeah, exactly. I want buds that can somehow be a little bit smarter and more clever with how they're used. That and multipoint. Please, just multipoint everywhere. For whatever reason, OnePlus, I only found this out, like, well, I knew, but I didn't really test for it. Anyway, yeah, so the OnePlus buds don't support multipoint, which kind of sucks. That's where you're connected to 2 or 3 devices at once. And in theory, they can all play audio at once and mix, but most of them don't actually do that. Most of them will just cut out one source to let another one play. Anyway. Beside them, I like that I don't have to pair Samsung Buds with other devices. I want to try the seamless switching when take calls on the watch. Dust or something. Anyway. Let's see. To be honest, that sounds really cumbersome. Just open the case and hit connect. Wait, what do you... I'm not sure what that is in response to. Sounds really cumbersome. Just open the case and hit connect. Whatever... Yeah, I'm not sure what that relates to. So... Fill me in if there's something specific about that. Oh, I see. He has taglines and a white shoe, or a cat named White Shoes. Okay. Normally you don't like cats, but you like his. I guess is what I'm getting from that. Which, okay. I will forgive on that as long as there's room as long as there is room for you to like cats. We're still good. Okay, beside him, I got that it was about pairing buds, but what I mean is, what thing do you think is cumbersome? The means that I demonstrated for pairing the OnePlus buds? Because I mean, literally. Open lid, hold button for 3 seconds for something that you're only gonna have to do once per device. I don't care. Like, how much less work can you go through in order to do it? Because open the case and hit connect, I mean, we're talking about the difference between holding a button for 3 seconds or just hitting a button. I'm pretty open to the idea of holding a button for 3 seconds. That doesn't bother me. Especially, again, it only has to be done once per device, which is okay. The Google Quick Connect thing, or Quick Pair, is... As far as I can tell, again, I'm just going from what I read. As far as I can tell, what it does is it shares the Bluetooth token across your account. So it will then presumably, I guess, then if you got a second phone or you bought a new phone, you set up your phone and it would download a token and it would start just working with that phone too. I get that would be kind of a neat feature, honestly, it sounds gimmicky to me, but it would be kind of a neat feature. I just don't care. Like, it is such this feels like something that didn't need fixing, or the amount of fixing it just feels so, it doesn't feel like something that enough people are going to really make heavy use of for it to matter. I guess within an ecosystem thing, it might be a little bit neat, but how many people are switching, or how many people, again, are signing in their Google account to that many devices, and even on devices that they would use this for? Again, it's like a phone, maybe a Chromebook, maybe a tablet. I mean, those are all maybes. Honestly, how many people even have multiple Google devices active in their home that they want to pair earbuds to? I think this is a low number. And again, we're not talking about like, oh, you know, like husband and wife both have Google phones. Chances are they do, but they don't both pair their buds to the same phones. I just don't see this being that big of a thing. At least not enough that there was an argument over whether or not it should be covered in a review. Anyway, Kirby Mermaid. I stick with certain product categories. Headphones are Sony. Phone is OnePlus or Google. GPU is Asus ROG Strix GeForce. Tablet is iPad, and stream media players Roku and Google. Yeah, I mean, that's a good example of it. I don't have very many things that are all made by the same company. I don't have a whole lot of stuff that is just across the board one company's stuff. I think the closest, and this isn't a fair example, but the closest I have is my camera, because shocker, you can only get or only a few companies make lenses for Sony cameras, and so, you know, big surprise, I mostly buy Sony lenses. Let's see, outside of that, I mean, I'm looking around and I see products from so many different companies. I would like to be in more ecosystems, or more dedicated ecosystems, but not that much. I usually want the best thing for me, and so often that does not involve buying all from one ecosystem. I mean, it's great when you get to. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that Beast Item's doing it. I'm saying it never seems to work that way for me. Let's see. There's some things you like. Okay. Beast Item. Yeah, Chrome OS is a big no for me, and good ones are expensive. Why not get a Mac or PC? Yep. 100%. I'm actually, not to pick on you, but I'm actually kind of happy to see you say Mac and PC both in the same, because I know you were not a big fan of Mac, but you were only using it for the iMessage workaround. But yeah, obviously you consider these two things to be in pretty big, or sorry, you consider Mac and PC to be in a very different category than Chrome OS, because yeah, I just don't get Chrome OS. I don't. Sorry. I'm so convinced that Chrome OS will die and be replaced by Fuchsia before it ever gets good enough for me to ever consider using it. And at that point, Fuchsia needs to be way, way, way closer to real desktop PC quality. Let's see. Kirby Mermaid. Yeah, I thought about getting a Samsung QLED, but I got told to get an LG OLED considering my budget and the feature set on LG TVs. That makes sense. And there are so many good TVs anyway, like the options or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how close Samsung's ecosystem with TVs really matters. I know it does some, like you have the wireless mirroring and stuff like that. But yeah, outside of that, I don't really know if their phones have a big association with the TVs. And for that matter, you don't have a Samsung phone. You don't. Did you mention even having any other Samsung stuff? Yeah, if you don't have that inherent connection, I could see not going that way. Not that this factored in at all, but in theory, purely in theory, it is an advantage for me that I bought a Sony TV, because again, purely in theory, Sony TV plus Sony PlayStation, that's a small advantage. Again, in theory, Sony TV plus Sony camera, supposedly there's supposed to be some integration there. I don't think there is. Also, I'm not sure I'll ever get a Sony TV again after the shit show that is the current one. Which, honestly, it even works fine. It's just, it is so dog slow. It is just... they put such a crappy processor in. I'm still mad about that. For gaming, LG OLEDs are better. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too. Wait, B-Slide, you can't see Kirby in chat? Huh. I don't know. I don't understand at all what is happening with Kirby's messages. That confuses me. I've done absolutely nothing. I've not filtered. I've never deleted one of Kirby's messages. I have no filters in place on this except for very specific web addresses that people used to spam with. I have no answers. Let's see. Anyway, skimming down. I think I'm still falling. I think I'm falling further behind on comments. Let's see, David Lama. I have to stick with the awful power beats because using it any other true wireless earbuds on an iOS is awful. So I didn't really try the OnePlus Buds Pro with an iPhone. I guess I really need to do that. I didn't want to go to the trouble of charging up the iPhone SE to test that. It's such an old phone. It's the first gen SE, so it's not like it's a good thing to test on. But maybe I'll do that. I don't want to, but maybe I will. Wow, that was a big piece of dust that traveled right in front of my eyes. Let's see. Samsung Buds connect to your Samsung account. Any Samsung device is auto paired. Yeah, I mean, if you're fully into the ecosystem, I get that, but I don't know. Just to me that it doesn't seem that necessary. That's all. I don't know. It's not a bad thing. It just doesn't seem that necessary to me. I think for the average person, that at most saves you from pairing with, again, at most 4 total devices. And you only need to pair once with each device. It's not like pairing goes bad. It just doesn't. So, yeah. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I think what the big change in pairing that mattered was when we stopped having to enter 4-digit codes when we paired 2 devices together. Bluetooth pairing just stopped being terrible when that happened. After that, the world has been pretty good. Let's see. Kirby, like my Sony headphone, but the most exercise you get is going for a walk. Hey, that's exercise. It counts. People who use the same earbuds for workouts. Notably, the OnePlus Buds, I gotta say, those things, I tried. I could not shake those things out of my ears no matter what. So, they are in good. Maybe a little too good. I think they're a little big for my ears. Or rather, my ear canal. Let's see. Damn it. Chat, stop jumping. David, AirPods and AirPod Pros fit terribly in the ear. Sucks to not have much of a choice. Yeah, that's a problem, and it's one that I think I'm going to end up kind of having. B-Slide, I'm only have to pair and or hit connect to switch devices on the Surface. One of the reasons you want to buy a Galaxy Book. We have to pair or hit connect to switch. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but that doesn't really change the pairing situation though. Let's see. David might try the new wireless buds from Beats. think the only thing that threw me off is that it did not have the chip that does the seamless connection with iOS. Besides, I'm not an Apple hater. I would go macOS before Chrome OS and iOS before Pixel. Okay. Yeah, I know that's from the earlier comment, but yeah, I believe me, I would go Windows before I go back to Chrome OS. Or sorry, I would go back to Windows before I would go to Chrome OS, because as far as I'm concerned, Windows I can still do everything I need to do. I just might not like it as much. I think Mac OS is just better for a lot of that stuff. But Chrome OS, it literally is just not a choice for me. Anyway, I've said this. Let's see. Curvy. Feels weird saying way back in the day about phones. Oh, believe me. You'll feel that more and more as time goes by. You will find yourself unintentionally or unwillingly saying back in the day, and then realizing, damn it, I just said it again. You'll be perpetually annoyed by that phrase, because you're the one saying it. Beside him, can't tap my phone on the TV to turn on smart view, and I can output sound from the TV to the phone. Okay. And okay, so there is integration with the TV. That is cool. I mean, I fully acknowledge that is actually a really cool feature. I don't know that I would use it a lot, but you know, it's neat that it's there. Let's see. Oof, why would Apple not include it? I will answer that one. That I think actually that one's a very easy answer. In order to include whatever it is that Apple needs in the buds to support a feature, I bet anything a company probably has to pay Apple some sort of a fee in order to even include it or get certified for it. Sorry. Beside him, I read what you wrote verbatim, but I quickly figured out that was supposed to be can. So yeah, sorry, I didn't bother correcting it, but yeah, I got that. But yeah, it's just like any device that used Apple's various ports for accessories. You had to get officially supported, otherwise Apple might blacklist your devices, or all kinds of weird stuff would happen. And Apple wanted its cut of accessories. Every accessory had to be licensed for use with Apple. Honestly, I think that's exactly why a lot of buds don't include those chips, or rather don't support that particular feature. And seeing as it only has a relatively minor effect on how people use it, I mean, let's be honest. If you've got an iPhone and you're only going to connect buds with an iPhone, you don't need the feature. You're going to be pretty good with it. So yeah, I think that's why in general a lot of companies don't bother including a lot of the stuff that Apple might use, because their target market just isn't necessarily iOS users. And even if it is, like if it's not exclusively iOS users, they might just not think it's worth the cost of trying to support it. Kirby Mermaid. Plus you can use NVENC to render videos on Windows because macOS doesn't use NVIDIA cards. Yeah, Kirby, don't get me wrong, that's something I really would have liked. And if I will say this, if I had a Windows desktop, which I would still very much like to build, if I had a Windows desktop here, it would definitely 100% be an NVIDIA video card, you know, when I can safely buy those in like 6 years, because then it would be great to have hardware rendering for video. Holy crap, I want that a lot. But yeah, it not entirely an option. Not yet. Maybe someday, somehow. We'll see. That being said, to be fair, I'd be perfectly comfortable taking what Apple's got going on with an M1, like an upgraded M1, for streaming purposes on OBS. Hell yeah. Not even a question. They're with DaVinci Resolve rendering video, which is kind of famously slow, and it's really not that bad. It's just a little slower than some of the other options. DaVinci Resolve on Windows versus on a Mac, we're already fairly close, though you could optimize it quite a bit on Windows if you really tried. And when the M1 Max came out, DaVinci Resolve was actually performing faster than it performed on any other Mac out there, except maybe Mac Pros. I'm not sure about those. And then, since then, in the last few months, DaVinci Resolve actually published an update that has huge optimizations, which apparently just night and day, incredible jump on rendering performance. So at this stage, it's possible that for actual video rendering, Macs might actually be beating Windows machines at a fraction of the price that you'd have to pay in order to build a machine that's like decked out, which is kind of a weird thought, but it's probably true. So, you know, at this point, I mean, believe me, I would love to build a desktop if for no other reason than just being able to have more game options, but holy crap. For video rendering, I might actually just be happy with continuing with Mac. Let's see. Kirby Mermaid asking David Lama, do you really need to stay with Apple earbuds? Beast item, yeah, definitely don't get up to tap my phone on the TV, but when I smoke, switching the sound to the phone. I know that's not what you meant, but so I can watch through the slide. Oh, when you go out to smoke. Okay, I thought smoke was an accident. I got it. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's actually a really cool feature. I did not think of it in that context. You know, so yeah, you can still see the TV, but you go outside and can't hear it. So you're mirroring the audio to your phone. That actually is a neat use case. I would not have considered it. Let's see. Kirby's going out to make food, obviously for dinner. Which, hey, if I don't know if you're still listening, but enjoy. We'll very possibly still be streaming when you get back. I don't know for sure, because technically I'm almost out of topics. I've got one kind of sitting on deck, but I haven't even looked at it yet, which is that the Android 12 beta 4 just came out, but we'll see. Let's see. And I saw Beast Slide asked the real question, charcoal or gas? Let's see. Which, by the way, the obvious answer is it depends. Let's be honest. If you're out camping, go gas. Charcoal is such a pain in the ass. But if you've got a good place to actually cook, like, you know, built-in space for burning charcoal, bricked in, or just a really nice grill for this, go charcoal. It's a better cook. Anyway, Let's see. All right, quickly finding my place again. Oh, and then David, I guess not, but like I said, true wireless buds without the Apple chip really is inconsistent with connectivity. That makes sense. Though, actually, it kind of doesn't, because what's funny is my MacBook Pro has incredible Bluetooth performance, and I know that they're doing the same thing with that they do with everything else. V-slide and gas is never the answer. Nah, camping, like, camping makes it such a huge pain in the ass to do charcoal. You have to have a bigger apparatus for it. You have to carry more stuff. It's more trouble to clean up. Yeah, no. If you're camping, to be fair, my definition of camping and other people's is a little different. I'm super into the sort of low effort camping. I want to go out, spend like a night sleeping in nature, hang out around maybe a campfire, and chill. That's pretty much it. I don't go out camping for like 2 days in a row, yes, but not like, I don't go camping for like 4 nights kind of a thing. So let's see. Well, yeah, if you're using wood, like, believe me, if you've got like an actual campsite where you can just do a wood fire, that's always a nice touch too. It's inconsistent cooking, which is the challenge, but it is more taste and flavor. Taste the meat, not the heat. Nice. But yeah, anyway, and it also does depend on what you're cooking. But this is going off into all kinds of, it becomes such a big, complicated discussion there. What the hell is this? Oh, weird. Okay. Oh, that reminds me. I needed to look really quickly at something else that I saw. This will just be 1 second. Oh my god. Oh boy. Yeah, okay. So, let's see. I'm pretty much done with the drone thing. That topic got left behind a while back. Quickly looking over, and I have not even looked at this yet, but Android 12 beta 4.1. Let's see. So, okay, so this is basically just a bug fix update. Wow. This is less of a topic than I thought it was going to be. Let's see. Fix an issue that caused some devices to get stuck in a boot loop after restarting. Issue, which, great. That's going to be easily fixed by a system update. Or rather, people will have an easy time fixing that. I'm sure they will. Fix an issue where heads-up notifications were sometimes not shown, requiring the user to swipe into the notification door to view them. Okay, I've actually seen that happen. David Lama, you had... I don't know if you're here when I said it earlier, but yeah, one of these days, someday in the future, I will have some stories to tell. There will be some not so subtle shade getting thrown. Fix an issue where the device volume controls sometimes did not work when casting. Fix an issue where face unlock did not work on some devices. Fix an issue that prevented users from granting the nearby device's permission. Oh wait, hold on one second. I just realized, just want to make a note of something before I forget. Okay. Just occurred to me I need to fix something after this is over. Fix an issue that prevented users from granting the nearby device's permission to the phone app in settings. Yeah, okay. I can see why they need to fix that. And fix an issue where after connecting the phone to a VPN, the phone could not connect to the internet. Wow. Okay, well, that's a list of bug fixes. Okay. Oh, oh yeah, I did transition over. All right. Yeah, super not exciting. Not a lot to say there. Not a lot at all. So yeah, anyway, do we have other topics? Does anyone have anything else? And at this stage, I'm just gonna, just for the hell of it, I think I will call the 15-minute warning, because we're getting near to the 5 o'clock time. But as we all know, that's flexible. It's highly flexible. Let's see. Not that I think there's really much left to say, but if anyone has questions about the OnePlus Buds Pro that are purely black, so they blend into this background very, very well, I can answer those. If you have any questions about any of these other true wireless buds that I can determine without putting them in my ear, I could probably also answer some of those, maybe-ish. Let's see. So I guess at this stage, I should also probably open the box for the Klipsch buds. I really was not kidding when I said I do not open or touch these until I'm ready to take photos. How did I luck out on getting that review? Not really much of a luck factor. I just no one else. It seems like no one else was really interested in doing true wireless buds reviews at the time, so I basically just said, hey, I'm available if no one else wants them. I mean, literally it was if no one else wants to do this, I can do them. No one else volunteered, so I did them. And it was actually kind of a weird coincidence, because after I agreed to the OnePlus buds, then there was talk of getting the Razer buds, and I basically said, well, you know, I can do those too. It's not like it's that big of a deal. And then the rep for Razer basically said, all right, I don't know when we'll have them. So, you know, but we'll keep you apprised, basically. Like, we'll let you know if anything comes up. So it sounded like they weren't even going to send them. And then right after, or a little while after that, nothing had happened. And I basically, the Klipsch earbuds turned up as an option. And I basically said, look, you know, I kind of get the impression we might not get the Razer ones for a while, if at all. So I'm open to doing the Klipsch ones if we want to fit that in. And so it's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. No big deal. And literally the day after we agreed on the Klipsch buds, Razer sends an email saying, hey, we sent these to you. And so the Klipsch buds actually arrived on Friday of last week, and or sorry, the Razer buds arrived Friday of last week. The Klipsch buds arrived Monday of this week. So, yeah, weird how that works. Anyway, they're earbuds. They don't take a lot of time to review. Honestly, like this is the quickest thing. So, and I still have to finish a couple of other things that I've admittedly sat on a little too long. Oh, and I don't think I'm gonna get to, but I did volunteer to review a watch. Before anyone asks, it is not the Pixel Watch. I don't know if I can say what it is, but I did volunteer for it. I don't think I'm gonna get it. I think someone else is taking it, but just acknowledging, I'm trying to get Wear watches. Really, really trying. I want to. Oh God. I just saw something really devastatingly bad. But hey, that has nothing to do with me, so yay. Let's see. Anyway, so I'll close that. PR people coordinating. Honestly, there are so many true wireless buds coming out. They're all over the place. I see them everywhere. What processor does it run on? I have no idea. I assume it's documented somewhere, but I don't pay attention at all. I guess that might indicate what features they support to some extent, but yeah, I've never looked into the processors on these. Let's see. Yeah, there's no mention of it on the Klipsch box, on the outside at least. I'm assuming websites might have that. Maybe. That is so far outside of my what I would even have thought to look at, which possibly makes me a bad reviewer. Okay. So what other topics do we have? Quickly looking around. Again, if anyone has anything, feel free to mention. Oh, and David, RIP movie post. Believe me, the movie post almost took a little bit of a hit this last weekend. But oh, what processor does it run on? The watch that I was volunteering to review. I think technically I'd be giving too much away if I said, which I just knowing what I know, I can make some safe assumptions about what it is, but I'm just saying I don't know if I'm allowed to say that watch. I don't know if it's been announced is the issue. That's it. It's not anything super interesting. I'm just saying I tried to get a watch and didn't get to. Oh, and even and even if I knew, for what it's worth, even if I knew whether or not it's been announced or anything like that, technically I don't know what processor is in it. I could make some guesses, some pretty reliable guesses, but I don't technically know. I just realized I should not be putting those next to a hard drive. That was not right. Anyway, let's see. B-slide of no other options, really. You're not wrong. There are not many smartwatch makers out there that are anywhere worth talking about.
Is the current watch still performing well? I mean, it's fine for what I do with it mostly. Yeah, the LG Watch W7, which everyone made jokes about, but I'll tell you, having real hands on a watch is nice. I won't judge it against a watch that doesn't have real hands, but I do think that is a really neat feature. Oh crap. I just decided, I don't know why, but I glanced over at my email, and a PR person decided to let me know that there's a documentary coming out about quote, the coronavirus conspiracy. I even hate saying those words because it's practical, like an automatic, hey, your video is now going to have a warning at the bottom of it. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you know what? I'm not even including this in the listing. Not happening. They can screw themselves. I allow a lot of documentaries to get through that I don't necessarily think deserve a place. This is just crap. It doesn't get promotion. I hate these people. Anyway. Let's see. Is Qualcomm even still selling the 3100? I don't know. I don't think they'll sell it for new devices. Maybe there's some chance that they're still selling it for any customer that's still shipping a 3100 device. But I kind of doubt it. I don't know. Maybe there's a chance. David Lama, imagine the comments it would bring. See, that's part of it. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, if anyone was really inclined to, I have allowed a lot of movies through that do have like a political side on them, and very notably, I'm not filtering this based on my politics. I'm just I let through some stuff that is right-leaning. I let through stuff that is left-leaning. There are some extremist things that have been promoted that I do filter out because they're really, really extreme. Cough, cough, Dinesh D'Souza. But yeah, I'm not gonna let something like this through. The funny thing is, even though I let through a fair amount of political stuff, the comments never mention it. I don't think I've had to filter one political comment from the movie post. I'm genuinely amazed by that. We've had one or two comments that were just sort of offensive in their own, just like anonymous internet keyboard crappiness kind of way, but no one's getting political. I don't recall anyone becoming like offensive in terms of like disgusting things to say. We have had a few people get specifically mean at me over the movie post because for some reason some of them are really confused about the idea that the movie post links to movies you either have to pay to watch individually, or they're linking to movies that are available on subscription services. Why people are mad about this, I don't know. But they are weirdly like super dickish over that. And then some of them are really mad because they can't tell what they'd be getting if they click through to a movie. I don't get it. I think some people don't really think very much about the things that they complain about. Anyway. let's see, Austin, iPhone on September 14th, which I apologize, I don't remember who brought this up, but rumor was that Apple was having 2 events roughly in September, or possibly one getting as late as October. Which, wait, was that last week? Because I swear I remember just verbally saying, yeah, that makes sense. It's going to be the iPhone and the Mac. They'll have separate events, obviously, because obviously. And yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that was definitely last week, because I also remember saying I'm not super jazzed about the iPhone event because I think it's going to be a relatively low excitement event. There's not a lot of rumor about hardware stuff happening. The only real rumors seem to point to it only really seemed to point to maybe some software stuff being a little bit more exciting. Really quick, also, iPhone rumors. What actually are the rumors? When you go to a site literally named Mac Rumors, expecting to quickly and easily find a whole bunch of rumors about the iPhone, all right, fine. We'll just hit the site directly. Okay, what do they even have about the iPhone coming up, or do we have anything else? Apple plans to develop a program to improve supply chain. After that 9 to 5 writer got called out for this, yeah, I can see why it would be a good time to mention, hey, we also intend to improve security more. Apple TV shows For All Mankind and Calls win Emmy Awards. For those who haven't watched it, For All Mankind, really great show. I mean, I'm not going to do the whole like Ted Lasso hyping it beyond reality kind of thing, but it's actually really a good show. I was pretty impressed with it. I've watched seasons 1 and 2, and I know season 3 is coming, especially since it just won an award. It's pretty much guaranteed season 3 is coming. Let's see. Apple to release iOS 15 iCloud Private Relay as a public beta. Oh, okay. This is their VPN service. Alright, cool. Whatever. Apple seeds 7 betas of iOS and iPad OS 15 to developers. They're probably not going to announce everything, or probably haven't released everything that's coming with that. David Lama, Ted Lasso's pretty cute. Well, the show's pretty cute. Yeah, I do like the show. I haven't watched the most recent season. I only watched the first season. And I'm definitely going to get back to it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Yeah, I liked it. I felt like it wasn't quite worth the hype it was getting. It's good, but I was expecting something a little bit, I don't know, more endearing. And it was fun. It just wasn't the, wow, this is one of my favorites kind of thing. It didn't have the magic to it, I guess. Diablo. Why would it matter how it's obtained? In regards to the movie post and having comments. Yeah, I don't know. And there was also some guy who was really mad that we didn't put Putlocker links on the page. For those who aren't familiar, Putlocker is a piracy thing. It's a bunch. It's not even
Putlocker itself doesn't even exist anymore, but there are a bunch of clone services that basically all they do is let you watch pirated copies of TV shows and movies, and I think they show you ads or something. And he was mad that we weren't including links to that. It's like, dude, what? Like, are you deficient? Do you have a learning disability? Why? What's wrong with you that you think we're gonna promote Putlocker sites? That's not gonna happen. Especially because I don't have the time for it. I'm not gonna... Seriously, it's enough work to go find legal copies of these movies and get their links in there. I'm not gonna spend... No way in hell am I gonna spend hours hunting down pirated copies for you, you lazy bastard. Anyway. Okay, so they... Alright, look, Mac Rumors, I love you, but you're doing what AP does and posting an article for every one of the betas that Apple released all at once. Don't do that. No one needs that. AP certainly didn't. Let's see. Okay, so Apple's child safety measures thing is getting shot at. We talked about that already. It's not a good idea to do it the way that they're trying to do it. Okay. Yeah, that's whatever. iPhone 13 may feature upgraded Face ID that works with masks and foggy glasses. Okay, now we're on to a rumor, and really? I know that there was pretty heavy rumors suggesting they were going to stick with Face ID for this generation and then move back to fingerprint reading, under-screen fingerprint reading. But jeez, I some part of me was just kind of hoping that they'd get back to fingerprints sooner rather than later. Because look, I think Face ID is great. Have Face ID. Actually, I guess technically, I don't know that they aren't going to have under-screen fingerprint reading too. Let's see. Okay, I don't see any mention of fingerprint, so. Alright. My hunch is that they're not going to do that until the next iPhone. Which kind of sucks. Here's the thing. It's not that I think they need to get rid of Face ID. It's that I think they need to have both. And also, for what it's worth, I've kind of danced around this topic in the past, and maybe this is the topic to end on. Man, I had this whole thing. I'm not sure I want to spend the time on this, actually, because this whole discussion really warrants a longer conversation. Touch ID got back burner status. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling. Let's see. Quickly catching up. Beast Item C is your favorite show on Apple TV. C was the one with Jason Momoa, wasn't it? The blind, the Planet of Blind People. Yep, that's the one. I have not watched this yet. I've wanted to for a while. I'm gonna make a note to watch this. But yeah, I'm interested in this for sure. Okay, just moving the IMDb page elsewhere so I can quickly pull it up. Diablo. Okay, so honestly, what does an Apple Watch do better now than the Samsung Watch currently released? My biggest answer is probably health tracking. I haven't used either of them, but the health tracking stuff on Apple Watch is pretty spectacular. And not just workouts, but also just consistent tracking. Also, just it seems like the software has more features that seem to be more to the liking of people who are sort of fitness fans. Yeah. So, I know it's a typo, but yes, the blonde people. I love that. Anyway, yeah, so let's see. I don't know. I have a feeling B-Side is probably watching this closer than I am, but yeah, I get the impression it's just at this stage the Apple Watch really it has more maturity. At least to some extent. But I don't know if that's even necessarily the only thing. It's just Apple's had more time really working on their watch, and as much as Samsung I'm sure has put some time into it, they haven't done as much with fitness yet, at least from what I can tell. Having not used it, I admit that's not necessarily that much. Let's see. I feel that I hope the new iPhone is good. If it's meh, I might switch to Pixel or stick with the current device. Well, David, come to the green side. No, I'm kidding. No, as usual, I kind of want to see the iPhone be good, just on the virtue that it pushes Samsung and Google forward more. Also because I'm not petty about the differences. I'm totally okay with the idea that people can and should use multiple phones. So cheers. Or sorry, not people should use multiple phones, but people should not like hate on phones just because it's not what they use. Let's say it that way. So yeah, I want the iPhones to be good. People who like iPhones should have good phones. Let's see. All right, skimming down, probably isn't much. The fitness and health apps on iOS are very good. Beside I'm using the outer display. I assume you mean that was the cause of the typo. I know I don't know if you're still doing this, but I know you were using speech to text, which I could see that also causing. Whenever I see typos, I assume it's either autocorrect or speech to text. I know typos happen all the time. It's impossible to avoid them, especially with the imprecise methods we have now. Let's see. I feel my voice kind of going, and all things considered, the topic that I was thinking about hitting, I have a lot to say on it, and there's no way that happens in less than like half an hour. It gets super far into the topic of security on phones, or security unlock methods on phones. There's a lot to say there. But yeah, I don't think my voice can hold out through the whole thing, and it's one of those topics I want to hit all in one. Hey, David, actually good timing because I'm basically saying the goodbyes now. So, hey, take it easy. Good having you by, and see you hopefully for the weekend. Oh, speaking of weekend streams, real hit and miss on whether or not the weather will be cool enough for me to do game streams. I think Saturday's fairly likely, Sunday's questionable, but we shall see. And I will try to give a better heads up once I have a good look at the weather reports. But anyway, take it easy, man. I will see you in the near future. But yeah, anyway, so I do have a thing I want to do on security and unlock methods in the near future, but it's probably not gonna, it's too much for me to do today, or tonight, I guess it now is.
But yeah, I will hit that. I don't know exactly when, but I will hit that again fairly soon. Because I've had a lot of thoughts about this in the last like 2 weeks for reasons. But with that, I think I am gonna close up. Thanks to everyone for coming by. Thanks for being part of the show, chatting with me and doing the thing. You guys keep it interesting. As usual, if anyone would like to throw a little bit of support behind the channel, you can do that by clicking the Patreon or Streamlabs links down below. Let's see. As usual, as I just mentioned, the game streams hopefully will happen this weekend. No promises due to heat, but I think Saturday's likely. Let's see what else. I'm blanking on what else to say, but with that, I hope everyone has an awesome rest of the week. I will see you guys on Discord. You know how we do. And yeah, so I'm blanking hard. All I can think to say is good night, everybody.